The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. The American Italian Cultural Center and Museum on South Peters in New Orleans offers event venue space, Italian language classes, dual citizenship and translation services, seminars, genealogy, and trips to Italy. Ciao! AmericanItalianCulturalCenter.com. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area.
I'm PeggyScott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, with updates from the local restaurant, arts, and entertainment scenes. Joining me, Poppy Tooker, host of Louisiana Eats on WWNO Radio. And I love your Chinese New Year.
Happy New Year.
I love that. We're so thrilled. We've been talking about having Darryl Montana on our show for a long time, and he's here, Big Chief of the Yellow Pocahontas Black Masking Indian Tribe, and talk about show and tell, the ultimate show and tell here. Welcome, Darryl.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. Absolutely. Alan Smason, editor of the Crescent City Jewish News and TheaterCriticism.com. Howdy, Alan.
I'm here.
And making her debut, Heatther Matthews, executive director of ARC of Greater New Orleans, which focuses on creating jobs and assisting those with intellectual and developmental disabilities. This includes the resale of Mardi Gras beads, so we'll talk more about that. Welcome.
Thanks so much
to
for
our
having
table.
me.
Hello.
Thank you.
Poppy, oh my goodness, we're still in the Mardi Gras mode.
Well, Peggy, let's start off by just toasting to Ralph Brennan and all the ways he is celebrating Mardi Gras this year. This, of course, is the king cake cocktail. No, it's a king cake martini.
Ooh.
It's all cocktails, and isn't it delicious? And there's a whole selection of special Mardi Gras cocktails over at Ralph's. There's a black mask. There is a Queen of Orleans. All very delicious.
I had that. That's
you
really
had the
good.
black. It was
it's potent. But I do have that.
I love the lavender
Look at
cocktail.
that.
Yeah,
Ooh.
the Queen of Orleans. But aside from that fun, I've got a quick work in that until February 9th, they are still having their annual lobster dinner. And I know you
I just
enjoyed
did that too.
and so you can say how delicious it was.
It was.
There's lobster bisque and American. It's beautiful lobster dishes that, of course, are all sustainably raised lobsters. But there's so much more to talk about, too, because this year they're hosting a special Mardi Gras lunch on Friday, the Friday before Mardi Gras, and then brand new, a Lundi Gras brunch that will take place on Monday the 12th. And make your reservations. What fun you can have. You can have brunch at Ralph's and then walk over and catch the dead beans on the bayou because they start right there in the neighborhood. There's specially priced bottles of sparkly. It's going to be a fun time. So Friday and Monday, special brunches, lunches, and then the King Cake Parade on Steppin Out continues. And this week we have a very special King Cake, and this is from Couvent. And so this is, of course, your traditional gâteau de roi, the cake of the king. And that's the original French one. I want to remind everybody that Couvent and the Eliza Jane is just one block from all the parades. So you can go in and you can enjoy a slice of this beautiful cake in the restaurant or in the bar. They have all kind of specialty Mardi Gras cocktails available, like a king cake old fashioned and a Zulu king cocktail. And you can get whole king cakes available to go too. Enough of the Mardi Gras for this week, at least, because it's time to celebrate the Chinese New Year. It's the Year of the Dragon, and boy, oh boy, is Miss Shirley over on Magazine Street celebrating this year. It has started now. Actual Chinese Mardi Gras, Chinese New Year Day is February the 10th, but they're celebrating now all the way through Lundi Gras. Look at the special dishes. It's a limited menu because she does all of these dishes only once a year. Fried beef dumplings. I absolutely have to have some abalone Szechuan.
Say that fast.
Abalone Szechuan, tongue-tied, and then crab meat and snow pea leaves. This is a very special springtime dish. Braised beef and turnips, orange chicken, and then Miss Shirley and her daughter Carling wants to let everybody know that they have just opened up a private dining room. It's the Mahjong room, and you can have seated dinners there for $75. Cocktail parties for $85 to $90, and so I'm telling you what, no more fun you can have than at Miss Shirley's, except maybe you can have a good time too over at Mr. Mao, because Sophina Young is also celebrating the Lunar New Year with 2 special brunches on the Lunar New Year Day, Saturday the 10th, and also on Sunday the 11th, $35 bottomless mimosas. There's the chuck wagon going around, all sorts of delicious brunch dishes, and some of her favorites like the puri, delicious little yummy, crunchy, spicy cups. Anyway, lots of ways to celebrate the Chinese New Year.
Thank you so much.
Happy New Year, Peg.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Darryl, when we asked if possible if you could bring a few items to show us, wow, did you indeed wow us? We've got some wonderful still photographs of what you brought, but let's show some of these you made. Let's just, for the uninitiated, you made by hand. By hand. And they're three-dimensional.
Three-dimensional,
you know.
yes.
So we're going to start with, I believe, the green. Here we go. And this particular outfit, you said, was on exhibit?
It was on exhibit in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where I competed against 28 artists from around the world. And it wound up being the premiere of the exhibit. Wow. In fact, in doing that exhibit, I caught another exhibit in England that I did.
Once they saw that, it's like, wow, you know. And then we have a purple one, and well, here we go, a little bit more of this. So tell us about this guy.
Oh, Tyrannosaurus Rex. I had to cage him.
He's on the
He was causing havoc. He was causing havoc in the community, so I had to put him in a cage.
And then let's move to this magnificent purple one, kind of a pinkish purple. It's gorgeous. Oh, wow. Tell us about this one.
That suit was done in the year of 2000. Each one of those suits, they're over 20 years old.
And how much do they weigh?
The purple suit is a little heavier than the green one. A suit can weigh about 75 to 100 pounds. And you know, we put them on and we wear them all day. And you don't take them off until you're finished with them.
No, you don't. And I think we have one of you actually, there you go, on Mardi Gras Day with that suit. Oh my goodness. And so you've obviously saved them from over the years.
I saved them, and I also save all the patterns because I create my patterns. And every suit that I've made, I'd say within the last 30 years, I have all the patterns from every suit that I've done. I have envelopes where I mark year thus and so, year thus and so.
Yeah. Now, on Mardi Gras Day, I know you may not be coming out in full mask, but some of your tribe members will. Where would they be? Well,
the chief, I called them and I told them that we're not going to do it this year.
Okay.
And the reasons why, I was planning on dressing this year, but I looked at my time and I only had 97 days left. Because I spent so much time. I spent so much time on my center. Like, for instance, the green one, Tyrannosaurus Rex, that's my center. And I was working on my center. My East Center, I did 2 of them. East Center took me almost 3 months to do one.
Wow.
So you look at...
This is all by hand.
So
you know?
I run out of time.
Wow. Well, no, but thank you so much for bringing these, too. And I know they've been on exhibit at NOMA. I mean, as well as nationally and internationally in Paris. You know, you have so much to be proud of. But we would be remiss if we didn't talk about your daddy, because, of course, you were very much inspired by Allison Tootie Montana.
If it had not been for him, you know, my daddy was my mentor. He was my role model. He taught me in doing this that there's no easy way out, no shortcuts. You know, we don't glue. Now, we do glue the feathers, but as far as the sequins and beads, all of that is hand sewn. A suit can take you approximately 5,000 hours a year to make one suit.
Yeah. Now, I love the fact that there was actually a monument to your dad, and it's on view at Congo Square in Armstrong Park. Look at this. Isn't that magnificent? Wow.
Yeah, that was
and also talk about, and we have a wonderful photo of him, talk about what he did for a living, because that influenced how he made his costume.
In fact, my daddy wanted to separate himself from the rest because everybody was looking alike. And what he did, he was a wire latherer by trade. And he took his trade and he put it into his suits. So that's how the three-dimensional suits were created.
Well, the Pavillon Hotel is kind of testament to his talent,
the
isn't it? The facade and
the Le Pavillon Hotel, the logo on the front of the hotel, that's my daddy's work. The Jack's Brewery, that artwork on there, all that pretty skin on the building, that's my daddy's work.
Well, the other thing about your dad, too, is that while, you know, in years gone by, some of the Mardi Gras used to get into tussles, but now he kind of established the whole concept of the prettiest, didn't he?
The prettiest, yeah, because they used to physically fight. And I remember hearing horror stories about his uncle. They would get into a fight with other tribes, and they say they was running underneath the house in their suits. And I was trying to figure out, well, what kind of suits they were wearing they could fit underneath the house. Because you barely could fit through your front door with these suits, you know. But my daddy stopped the violence in it. He's known for that.
Yeah.
And that's what we have today.
Yeah, we're so glad you're here.
Thank you
and
for having
Heather,
me.
this is another aspect of Carnival that a lot of people are not familiar with. Tell us generally about ARC and the Mardi Gras connection, which is great. We have some images.
Thank you. Yeah, so the ARC of Greater New Orleans serves people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We support people from cradle to grave. We've got a service for everybody in the community. The Mardi Gras recycling program came out of a creative way to provide jobs to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, as well as provide a service to the community, recycling the products, and it brings revenue to us as well.
And probably you get a good deal, too, when somebody goes and buys the beads.
Individuals, crews come in, you can get them for about half price anywhere else. It's a bargain.
That's so good to know. Not everybody knows that. Yeah, I love that. Now explain where it is as we talk about it.
We have centers as Carnival comes up. We've got places you can drop off the beads all over the city. You'll see a location uptown, but our main location is on Laborde Avenue, an airline, and you can shop. And we've got a giant warehouse where we move about 100 tons of beads every year.
Now this is across, okay, just to be a little bit more specific,
Sure.
This is across from Rouse's on the other side of Airline.
On Airline at Laborde,
Okay.
if you cross the street, there's a McDonald's. And actually, it's behind that McDonald's.
Okay, behind the McDonald's.
Yep. So it's a little tricky to find, but we're putting new signs up. We're not going to let you miss it anymore.
And of course, in terms of the services, it's the greater New Orleans. So you have different community centers, too.
That's right.
The proceeds help go towards.
Right, we serve people in West Wego, Mandeville, Chalmette, Uptown, and Metairie, of course.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
great. So for more information, you can definitely go to the website. But the big thing is that the store is open Monday through Friday, let's see, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
And Saturdays, too, during Carnival season.
Of course.
Place orders online, we'll get them to you.
Yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes.
I'm so glad you could be with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Alan, I know you've got the list.
And I'm going to get into that, but I just want to mention that my son's Eagle Scout project, he donated a 1/2 metric ton of carnival beads to St. Michael's Special School before I think ARC was on the scene.
Okay.
So they would have given it ARC too, but again, great work, and they do some wonderful work during the parades. They pick up after the parades go by, so they get to get that recycling going. Okay, so Rich Arnold, you may remember Rich is a great dynamic performer. He's basically taken himself out of the performing loop, though. He's now just a producer, but it's not really all that bad because the Big Easy Beat is the result, and they're currently finishing their run at Rivertown, a live band that's just fantastic, brings out all the past New Orleans songs that we all know and love and spotlight. Again, you're not discouraged either from singing along. The Big Easy Beat had 4 males, Pat Smith, Jonathan Drury, Michael Taravella, and Devion Martinson, who all honor the best of the very New Orleans sound that became famous back in the late 50s and early 60s. Fats Domino, Professor Longhair, Alan Toussaint, Earl King, Dr. John, just to name a few of them. And then the Big Easy Babes, of course. These are Jessica and Whitney Mixon.
Wow.
And you've got
Talent.
also Sheila Toops Armory. They honor the Dixie Cups and Irma Thomas and many others as well. Again, the songs and the mashups easily make this one of the best productions of New Orleans music you'll see. It's a combination of really talented performers, an easy-to-follow-along book, and personalities that really glisten. They really make the music glisten as well as themselves on stage. I urge you to all see this really important show. It is in its closing week, however. And one of the best of theater that you'll see that I saw in recent months is called Buyer and Seller. This is the piece that is in place of the Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf performances that were supposed to be going on. It's a play by Jonathan Tollins and performed by Nick Searley. There is a one-man show. Searley's perfectly charming in this outing. It's a strictly fictional account of a gay man who's hired to work at Barbra Streisand's Malibu mansion, and basically it's after he loses his job to Disneyland. There's a lot going on here. Searley is at times raw and vulnerable, and at other times idiosyncratic and really irrational, but it's all part of the character that he assumes. You don't have to love Barbra Streisand in order to go, but it couldn't hurt. There are adult situations and, of course, adult language, but probably nothing you've never heard before. Buyer and Seller plays this weekend and ends its run on February the 4th. And, of course, there is no show on February the 1st. Why? Well, because there is a show coming up on Thursday night that is going to be an incredible one-night performance of a brand new musical. It's in concert. And here is the man it's about, San Nicholas. It's based on the life of Mardi Gras design artist San Nicholas, whose story of coming up from abject poverty to learn design in New York to practicing his craft here in New Orleans is a fantastic plot line for any show. San Nicholas designed many of the costumes that we've come to know for the biggest names in Carnival, including Endymion, Orpheus, Thoth, Mocanna, and the crew of Venus, just to name a few. He was always swizzling champagne when not being driven along in a private limousine provided by the cruise, and I'm pleased to say I knew him very well before he died at age 93, not too long ago. Before he died, however, he met several times with musical composer and lyricist Leo Photos and David Goss. You see them there. They began to write a musical based on his life, and they actually premiered it at what used to be Studio 54. It's now called 54 Below, just at the end of October, not too long ago. So New Orleans was up in New York, in essence, if you will. Again, a live version is going to be performed this Thursday night at Le Petit, with doors opening around 7 o'clock, and then the show at 7:30. And then this is all in conjunction with the Louisiana State Museum's exhibit that they're having called To Be a Star. So what's going to happen is everybody in the theater is going to be second line by the musicians over to the Presbyterian Museum, and then you're going to see all of the other designs that are at the Presbyterian. It's called To Be a Star, the Carnival Costume Designs of San Nicholas at the Presbyterian, and the cost is only about $6 or $7 a person, so you can really afford that. So check that out again. San Nicholas is in concert. That's on Thursday night, and then the actual exhibit for San starts on the next day on Friday, February the 2nd. Also, we can't miss out on Les Miserables. Jean Valjean and Inspector Javert, Fantine and Cosette and Marius, Thénardier, all the students are inviting you and yours to join in the spectacle that is Les Miserables. Again, if you are interested in some of the music, you know, of course, Empty Chairs at Empty Tables. Do you hear the people sing? Bring Him Home, I Dreamed a Dream, A Heart Full of Love, Stars. All of these are song classics. And some of the fabulous songs you're going to hear starts this Tuesday night, and it plays all the way until February the 4th. And that'll be the end of Les Miserables for another year. But, you know, it comes back all the time, Peggy. It's such a wonderful show.
A few months ago, I was fortunate enough to have a backstage tour of the Sanger, and I am told that that is the most complicated show.
It is. They
well,
they have to build a barricade, and they have the turntable going
got the
around.
Turntable.
If you don't get on that turntable the right way, you know, you can take a little trip that you didn't expect.
That's right. That's right. I would have said Phantom. I would have thought Phantom or Wicked.
No, Phantom has actually been scaled down. If you saw the last performance of Phantom, you know that they've scaled it back.
I
It's
definitely
not like
would have thought that. I was surprised.
No. And there's so many people. Phantom has a lot of people too.
Yeah.
But Les Miserables has so many different moving actors and parts and stuff like that.
Okay, Alan, thank you. WYES is presenting Mardi Gras history vignettes on our YouTube channel. Here's one on crews who are celebrating big anniversaries this year. I'm PeggyScott Laborde with this New Orleans Carnival close-up. 2024 is a year of anniversaries for 3 popular New Orleans Carnival crews. The oldest is the crew of Carrollton, which is celebrating its centennial this year. making it Carnival's fourth oldest parading organization. It was founded in 1924 by businessmen in the Carrollton area and originally rolled on Fat Tuesday. It moved to its Sunday afternoon slot in 1948. This year, close to 700 members will ride in the 100th anniversary parade on what is known as Carrollton Sunday. This year, it's February 4th. First parading in 1934, the crew of Mid-City is celebrating its 90th anniversary this year. It was founded by a group of Mid-City businessmen who hoped to add new life to Carnival after the Great Depression. Mid-City became known for introducing animation with its parade floats, which to this day are decorated in distinctive tin foil. This year's parade rolls uptown at noon on February the 11th. A former king of Mid-City, Joseph Barry, helped start the crew of Okeanis in 1949. It was founded by businessmen along St. Claude Avenue and rolled for the first time in 1950. This year, for the 75th anniversary, former queens of Okeanis, including a longtime friend of WYES, Maria K. Chetta, Queen Okeanis in 1980, have been invited to ride in the parade on February the 11th. That's our New Orleans Carnival close-up. More to come throughout the season on WYES, our Facebook and YouTube pages. And special thanks to Dominic Massa and Michael Kaler for their hard work on that. Once again, just go to YouTube and type in WYES. And do check out, by the way, our WYES.org/Mardi Gras site for a complete list of all the carnival-related programs. And there are many, there are 50, okay, that we will be presenting this season. Time for our picks. Poppy.
Wondering what to do with the kids after Mardi Gras? Well, No Laborde is offering Mardi Gras break children's cooking classes on Thursday and Friday of that week. So grab a spot quick.
Heather.
Please visit our website. You can see what we do at ARC of Greater New Orleans and our Mardi Gras Recycling Center at the arcgno.org.
All right, great. Darryl.
Afro Creole Festival, February 3rd at the French Market. Cooking red beans with the big chief. And they'll have free samples.
Oh, that is such a great idea. Okay. Alan.
Well, I don't want to end the show without mentioning two shows that are on the North Shore before they close. I hope the weather cooperates. First, The Color Purple is finishing its run at Cutting Edge Theater. You know, that's the original cutting shop that they had for hair salon, and now that's a theater. And then, of course, there's also the story of Henry I and Eleanor of Aquitaine. It's told in drama, that The Lion in Winter. You may remember the film that starred Katharine Hepburn.
Wow.
And it's being put on by Playmakers Theater of Covington. And again, I'll see you at the theater.
All right. And before I move on to my picks, I just wanted to mention the passing of a true friend and colleague, Dave Landry. Dave worked at WYES as a videographer at the start of and often during his 4-decade career. His credits include many acclaimed documentaries, including Hot Stuff, The Restaurants of New Orleans. And this one, you see, that's at the Carousel at City Park, a documentary Barbara Sillery did on City Park. He went on to numerous national series, including Extreme Makeover and Bar Rescue. His work on the National Public TV cooking series, produced by WYES over the years, include Great Chefs, Paul Prudhomme, the recent Dookie Chase Kitchen, Leah's Legacy. Just a few of a very long list. Dave really cared about every project that he worked on, including Steppin Out. And his devotion to our station was boundless. Thank you, Dave. So missed, so missed. Now, picks. If you are in search of a costume, don't miss the 32nd annual NOLA Designer Bazaar, Saturday from noon to 5 at the Always Lounge, and that's on St. Claude near Elysian Fields. Also, all kinds of headpieces and accessories. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And look at this. Isn't that fun? I love all that, the design of that. And there's lots of wonderful little side items, the accessories and stuff. It's so much fun. And WYES's own Darryl Montana will sign his brand new book, When Rex Met Zulu, and Other Chronicles of the New Orleans Experience. That's Saturday 1 to 3 at Barnes & Noble on Veterans Boulevard. And on Sunday at 4 p.m., right behind the St. Roch Market on St. Claude, the T-Rex Parade will roll, inspired by shoebox floats of yesteryear that many of us grew up with. Just love Jeannie Detweiler's tribute to Chris Owens there. tparade.com for a map, but it's pretty much behind St. Roch and along St. Claude. Finally, for a more adult audience, though, Crew de Vue, Saturday night, followed by Crew Delusion. Check out their websites. And we've got just a moment or two. I had to go back to Darryl, though, because in terms of the first time you came out with your dad on Mardi Gras Day, what are some quick memories of that?
I was 8 years old the first time. You know, I watched my family make these suits. And in our household, Mardi Gras was like Christmas. You know, really it was. You know, like when Christmas would come, let's hurry up and get Christmas over with because we got to get on these suits. But a wonderful feeling, a feeling of pride, accomplishment, you know, because when you start making this stuff, you are not guaranteed to finish. Like, for instance, this year with me.
Yeah.
You know, so to finish the project, it's a beautiful accomplishment.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Darryl. And we should point out, okay, if you are watching the Thursday night airing of this program, okay, which also airs late on Fridays, right after the show is Steppin' Out. It's carnival time. Okay, a special edition right on this set with Darryl Laborde and Arthur Hardy talking about the season. So check that out. Stick with us right after you watch this. Thank you all so very much.
Thank
Thank
you
you for watching. Good night.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation promotes, preserves, and perpetuates music, culture, and heritage through programs, cultural, educational, and economic activities year-round. Learn more at jazzandheritage.org. The American Italian Cultural Center and Museum on South Peters in New Orleans offers event venue space, Italian language classes, dual citizenship and translation services, seminars, genealogy, and trips to Italy. Ciao! AmericanItalianCulturalCenter.com. This program is brought to you in part by the Eugenie and Joseph Jones Family Foundation, a local foundation proud to support education, the arts, and culture in the greater New Orleans area.